Christmas Eve. Chad, what's going on?
Merry Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Yeah, we're there.
To everyone. We're right there, right around the corner. What's going on? Another early morning. Well, not early morning. It's morning for me, almost afternoon for you. So
I like doing
an early
these.
pod.
I feel alive. I feel well rested.
Good.
Have the day off today, so we're gonna do a little bit of youngling, keeping it light. And then I also have my coffee next to me here, so it'll be
good.
I'll feel a little loose and a little hyper.
Well, I got the beers coming later, so I'm just starting with coffee, and that's it.
So. Smart. Pace yourself. Yourself. Chad, we got Boxing Day coming up. Big long list of games. This is gonna be a crazy week in itself, but we just have to go. Let's go back a couple days here. Exciting weekend, eventful weekend, a lot of score lines that I would have never predicted. You though, top of the leaderboard for the week on Pick'ems. Well done, 4 out of 5.
I don't know how I pick so well, but I'm happy to do it. I'm trying to be more mindful of remembering to make my picks.
There you go.
I just did my picks for Boxing Day last night, actually, because I had a small freak out of games in the morning, but no. But they're in, so I'm ready.
You're one of the few people in the Pick'ems that picks draws, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't start that way, but then I don't know. I felt like there was always a game or two in there that was a draw. That if I think we all want to lean towards games getting goals. But I'm trying to be a little more objective, I guess, and realize when a game might end as a draw. Like if it's an Everton game these days, it's probably a draw.
That's a fair assessment. We had 2 draws in the weekend. We counted 6 clean sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clean sheets on the weekend. That's pretty incredible. And then, of course, the stat that you brought up the other day. Go ahead, take it away. It's a beautiful one.
It's a beautiful one. So yeah, going back to November 1st. If you just take the table from there, it's if you want to look at the top of the table, Chelsea's up there 1 point above Liverpool, but Liverpool still has the game in hand, so not really. But the real highlight that in my head and heart I knew because I have been following it, but just to see it laid out this way, it was just such a slap in the face. Man City, bottom of the table, 20th since November 1st, only 4 points. Even Southampton and Leicester have 5 points in that time. So it really just highlights the crazy just collapse of what City's going through. And I know we were kind of texting about this earlier, but when this first started, I was like, oh well, Pep, yeah, he'll be fine. He's brought City so much joy over the years and so much control. I think he's untouchable, but I don't know now. I feel like there could be a point where City just has to cut the cord early. If this run continues or, improves but minimally, I think it'll be rocky. I think the real thing is going to be if they don't move on to that next phase of Champions League and get knocked out of that early. I think that coupled with these performances could be enough to kind of force City's hand. Like they have to do something. Pep has been a key component of their success, but you can't let your team completely collapse and crumble.
How long will this go on for is a question I think the board is having, and possibly Pep too. They play Everton this week, and I believe their record against Everton since Pep has taken over is 16-1, 16-0. It's something along those lines to where some pundit asked him, good matchup for you guys this week. You haven't lost to them in forever. I'm like, yeah, you throw that out into the air. And then Pep said there is no good matchup for us right now, which is a fair statement to make too. At least he didn't hide the fact that his team was not doing too great at the moment. Should we just dive into that City game first off and just get that out of the way here, because that was a game that I was a little more hesitant on City actually, I don't know, not showing up for that game. Aston Villa played their counters perfectly. They finished great. They did everything they needed to do to win that game, and Pep and that team just looked lost again.
Yeah, and this starting lineup is not their first 11, but much closer than it had been in the past week or two. So I thought, they would be a little bit more of the structured kind of free flow City that we saw or are used to seeing. But no, it was still just a weird mishmash of like no one knows what to do or who to look to. And Aston Villa came out ready to play. Our boy Duran got the start, gets a goal.
Been waiting for that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I assume City's luck will change here soon. I don't know if it'll be against Everton. If they have Leicester after that, that's two what should be winnable games for City, but we'll see how this version of City does. But it's just incredible that they continue to just look so poor. Like, it's not even that they're losing to a lucky goal or deflection or anything. They just are out of ideas or out of any like sense of what made City a threatening team.
It's crazy to me that this team has the former Premier League Player of the Year in Foden, Haaland, the most goals scored last year. And I'm going to put more on Haaland right now, but it's like, why is he not demanding the ball? Like, wherever he is on the pitch, I don't even care if there's two guys on me. Let me just see if I can make something happen, because he draws such attention and gravity. And when he gets the ball, it definitely makes people pause for even a quarter second, whatever it might be. They go, okay, Haaland's on the ball. What's going to happen next? I feel like no one else on City right now has that type of what's the right word here, aura around them, just because you don't, like, most of those guys, like, they're not going to do something wild. Grealish has just been out of form. Foden, same. Silva, same. Gundogan, same. But like Haaland, you never know. You really don't. And for him to only get 18 touches this game, which is a team low for the starting 11, that's crazy. Like, I get it. Like, you want to find him through the through balls, and you want to find him to maybe get tap-ins or headers. They crossed the ball to him one time in that game.
Oh,
that's crazy. Yeah,
and that's it. Is like, whether something happens or not, we've seen when he gets on the ball and he starts running, he's like, a truck through a brick wall. He's not stopping. It's if a goal doesn't come from him in that, he can at least maybe create some of that chaos in the back line and in the box, and someone can pick up the pieces and tap it in. But, they don't seem to be playing that. Like, I almost think he needs to go watch what Harry Kane was doing at Tottenham and just start and drop back, pick up the ball and start something, right? Because, you need him on the ball, whether he's in form or not right now. I think he's one of your best threats, right? Like you said, you never know. Like, his shots are generally very good, even from weird angles, weird aerial, whatever. So, yeah, I think you're right. Demand the ball, and even if you're not getting the goal, you could be creating something, and or at least getting the defense to adjust to you now dropping deeper, and then that maybe they'll push up because they're like, they all through training all week they've been taught to follow you, right, or like stick to you basically. So if you're dropping in, maybe that opens the wing a little bit. I don't know, but they got to try something new because the current game plan is certainly not working.
There's few players in the league that can put Haaland in a pocket one-on-one. A couple Arsenal guys, Virgil. We can kind of go down the list if we really wanted to. Like, yeah, maybe they match up nicely one-on-one. But most of these other teams, especially Villa, I don't think you can't have a one-for-one matchup on him. So there's got to be some opening there. the game plan to go against him has been excellent by all these teams. No disrespect from anyone else for shutting down Haaland. To keep him to 18 touches is damn impressive. And to have, let's count it, 1 tackle and 1 clearance on the game. That's crazy. No shots. Okay, I'm sorry, 1 shot, no shot on target. It wasn't really a shot on target or even close to that. It's just wild to see this team's downfall. Doku and Savinho, when they get on the ball, great dribblers, fast, quick, but have no crossing, no finishing, no threat on the goal. So that's even when Liverpool played City a couple weeks back and those guys were in the box, kind of just being fancy feet. It was just let them do that. That's okay. Nothing's gonna happen, and nothing did happen. And it seems to be the trend that they're doing right now. This team's in trouble, Chad. This Everton game is gonna be must watch again.
And again, it's the early game. Come on.
Is it even on? It's on Boxing Day, right?
Yeah, 4:30 in the morning for me.
Is it really? Oh, yeah. All right. We'll shoot for that one, but fascinating stuff, dude. Never would have guessed it. So now I want to ask this question. City's awesome. Like in the last decade, City is awesome. Great players. Great coach, great stability. What teams right now would rather trade places with City? Because it seems like everyone, and I'm gonna narrow this down. I'm gonna spotlight it on one other team, but a lot of teams right now are seems like they're kind of figuring some stuff out. Southampton just got a new coach. He's saying I can take in $5 million players and turn them into $8 million players. Yeah. I'm kind of being on the lookout for Southampton for the second half of the season, considering they're 6 points away from relegation. Wolves with a new coach, new system. Saw's back 3-0 this weekend. Ipswich, I'm a little worried for, but I feel like the bottom of the half of the table is kind of figuring stuff out. Everton looking better. Palace looking better. It's the middle of the table right now where I'm going, what the hell is going on here? Tottenham, Brentford, United, Brighton. Like, you guys, I thought you were going to be locked in a little more, and that's not happening. So the real question I want to ask you is, which of the Manchester would you rather be right now? Because right now I'm swinging United.
I mean, I think you'd have to swing United. They're certainly not performing to the levels that everyone. Well, I think we all assume they should be at the level that they're at right now, because
I'm talking today. I'm talking right now, today.
But I think United does have better upward trajectory at this point. Like, new manager come in, so some good performances already, but some tweaks here and there, some bad performances. But I think you're starting to see. Well, you're at least seeing more. Kind of free play in United than we did under Ten Hag. And I think that's, considering the players they have, I think that's kind of what they needed, is just to be like let loose a little bit. And they have players that are actually performing well. Like, Diallo's been just a menace. Even their backline has been better, like still shaky, still Onana doing risky moves because that's what he wants to do, but I think you have to take United as the better of the Manchester clubs at this moment in time, even though the table doesn't show it. But they look like they have some idea of what they're trying to do out there, compared to City, who is just I don't think it's 11 individuals yet, but it feels like it's very close to falling into that and being just a total dysfunction.
I feel like Pep takes these players and turns them into system players for his, but he's taking players who were such free flowing players like a Grealish and a Doku, who didn't necessarily need to have a game plan. It was give me the ball and I'll figure it out on the go. And now I feel like those guys are so in their head where it's okay, I got to control the ball, keep the ball. If I lose possession of it, Pep might take me out. That's not Pep's system. I got to make sure possession is number one, which, like, those players, especially Grealish, Aston Villa, totally different from how he played there to here. I hope he gets a move. It'd be cool to see him kind of go back to Aston Villa. I think he'd kind of slot in nicely there. But that's a guy who I think is probably on the way out. But again, the depth in City is lacking. So if you get rid of him, okay, who's his replacement? And how do you move forward with this squad now? Because he's 29, so that's not the worst. But as a winger, that's definitely on the way out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, this team it's fascinating. Again, with United compared to City, it's like night and day right now. Even though the records are different, it looks like United have some motivation behind them. A coach with a head on his shoulders. Knows the right thing to say. Seems like a pretty funny guy too with his latest press conference talking about the leaks in the roof. That was, oh man, what a dig. I hope United can figure. Did you see the new infestation?
They got rats.
Literal rats. They got literal rats.
Yeah. It's so that's the thing. United's got all this extra stuff going on in the club, and he's at least getting the players to just focus in and play. Where City, while yes, they have the whole 115 charges and all that going on, I think Pep should be able to just kind of have them all focus on playing. But I don't know. It's something has happened. I don't know if they've just been so good for so long and now won it all, and it's just hard to get motivated again because you've heard Pep say the same motivational speech over and over. Certainly injuries play a part in that, but all these teams are going through injuries right now, and
yep.
I don't think anyone else has looking to have fallen off so hard.
No, not even close. Fascinating stuff. We could go on and on and on. Maybe we're 20 minutes in, Chad, digging on City. I love it.
Long may it continue. I love to see it. It's not just a small blip. It's now, even if it doesn't end up being a whole season collapse, I think you can at least define this winter period as a collapse.
Absolutely, definitely the biggest surprise in the EPL for this first half of the season.
Yeah.
All right. Want to talk Arsenal? Then we'll go Liverpool.
Yeah. Kind of a weird, crazy game.
Weird and crazy, all right. Yep.
I think it's always hard to play the same team twice in 1 week. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, Palace played the same team in both games. Arsenal rotated fairly heavily in the midweek game. But Jesus resurrected, got his hattie there, so that was great to see.
Hey, happy birthday, Jesus.
Yeah, it might, his resurrection might come at the perfect time here, as Saka has gone out with looking to be a hamstring injury. All the early Reddit doctors are estimating it's maybe like 6 to 8 week time on the sidelines and getting back fit and everything. So if Jesus can come back into form and provide some goal threat, it's the perfect time to do it. That Arsenal's going to have to figure it out without Saka. Like they have in games before, but you see when things don't work, the ball just gets thrown to Saka and almost like, please help us figure it out. And generally he can get something going, but we'll see. So we'll see what they can do with that. But Jesus almost gets another hattie.
Oh man, he could have had 4.
I feel for him because those goals are there.
And for sure.
I feel like he probably looked back and said, I couldn't have gotten at least one of those just to get the hattie. But man, great performance from him. I liked Martinelli on the right wing, taking over Saka's spot. Arsenal play so right side heavy anyway, so I think that'll really help Martinelli and his numbers and his performance on the season, just because now he's going to be in the preferred side.
Mm-hmm.
He looked good. Declan came in, goal and an assist, like his goal. I gotta shout out Sarr though. He's got the confidence right now. He's taking that ball, just the one little, not even like a step, a little nudge of the ball, and gets it around Saliba. And great shot, So he's popping off. I'm just gonna throw it out there. if you're looking to drop Haaland in fantasy, Sarr might be the guy. He's scoring.
Sarr's a forward. He's there.
So yeah, certainly one we've been keeping an eye on, but everyone else maybe look at Sarr, see what he's doing, because he's on this team. He's leading this team. Trying to drag Mateta with him. I feel like he's trying to set him up, or at least like work with him, and Mateta just kind of keeps missing his chances. But yeah, I think the 5-1 feels maybe a bit more flattering to Arsenal than how defensively we played, but the attacking side, I think, was on fire on the day, and everyone looked pretty good. So happy to get Palace out of the way. I was nervous leading into it with them finding form, and I'm glad Sarr getting an early goal didn't disrupt the whole flow of Arsenal's game, and they were able to just kind of place their dominance on there, and we got a little lucky on some missed shots, or David Raya making some good saves, but yeah, still in it. It's 2 points behind Chelsea now, 6 and a game in hand behind Liverpool. So still in the conversation though, which is all I can ask for at this halfway point basically. So cheers to that, and that's a good Christmas for me.
I will say, Palace didn't play like it was a 5-1 game. They played. To me, they played a lot better than that. The goals they got, it happens, but overall, even when the game was 3-1, I remember I said to Kristen, I was like, "You feel good about this?" And she was like, "Yeah." She said like a sarcastic like, "Yeah," and I was like, "No, you don't." I was like, it was just the way Palace was attacking. They still looked like they were in it. I think by the 4th one, it was like, okay, like that will wrap it up. But even at that 3-1 point, I was like, they can get another one here and make it interesting.
Yeah,
and they had opportunities to do it.
That's what I kind of like about Palace right now, is they're almost kind of looking like they did at the end of last season, where they came out and wanted to play these games and want to attack. Yes, they're lower in the table than they were, at the end of last season. So I'm glad they're kind of finding the comfort still to do that, and not just try and sit back and wait for the perfect counter or anything. They lost Eze again, so that's kind of a bummer. But I don't know. Sarr, I think, is just riding such a confidence high, and it seems like every shot he takes is, if not going in, forcing a save. So if they can keep him healthy and wake Mateta up a little bit, I think they have a pretty good attacking side, especially with Munoz and Mitchell bombing down the wings. They've always caused issues and done their part. So I think they'll come up. I don't think their season's not over yet. I think they'll find the way back up to 12th or something, where they truly belong.
Yeah. 12 or bust. That's what we do.
Yeah.
For Eze, there'll probably be some people come knocking in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
He's an A player. He's great, but he can't stay on the pitch.
Yeah.
Do you sell him for a B player who's going to be there every single day? Maybe.
It's true.
Maybe. I don't know who that B player might be. But there's got to be someone out there who can give him quality every single day, every single time they take the pitch. Because I love Eze. The way he plays is great. He works in Crystal Palace so perfectly. But he's only there, it feels like, every other game, if that. And that makes it really difficult to build chemistry with your team. You can go down the list of everything that being there every day brings, but do you take quality every other game at this rate is what it feels like? Or
yeah, you can kind of look at Villa with Morgan Rogers. Like,
true,
they just brought him up from a championship team. So yes, you got to find a team willing to sell maybe their star player, one of their better players. But I don't think it's out of the question to look a little bit lower and just see who's performing and who has a less impacted injury record, because when Eze's on, yeah, he's great, but it's just kind of becoming the thing of, I don't know if teams will be too keen to look at him just because of his injury record. Like, if you're going to pay whatever money Palace is going to ask for, you want to be able to use him, and more than a handful of games at a time, and then he goes out. So I don't know. I think you're onto something good there with, maybe drop the quality a tad, but you got someone that's in there, that's always available, that's always playing. Like, no shade to Gibbs White, but I think he could be kind of a move like that. Not that he would drop from Forest to Palace, but I think that's kind of that player, right, where he's good. When he's on his day, he looks great. But for his biggest quality, I think that he's just always available for Forest, and still brings that creativity and that attacking side. So I'd hope they're looking at something like that, or at least getting just someone in to rotate with Eze more.
For sure.
Even if you want to keep Eze and just help him out, because clearly he doesn't have the fitness to at least do 2 games in a week here. So yeah, I don't know. See what they do, but I'm just all on Sarr right now, honestly. So
yeah, again, we're keeping our eyes on him, and we will, I think, until the end. He'll be going in the next best, I think, for winter. And then we'll kind of see what he does in the future. But Palace need to score more goals for me to want him, I think.
Yeah, it's fair.
If he was a midfielder, I'd consider it a little more, but
yeah,
I want those goal scoring forwards. Chad, I did forget to bring this up in the City game really quick here, but that was Foden's first goal of the year. And we were talking about confidence and how Jesus is now, 5 goals in the last week. That brings out a huge confidence in a player. I did read in the Manchester City subreddit that Foden got his goal, like, sky's the limit now with him. And I was like, full pause. I was like, hang on. I was like, that's crazy. And it definitely made me laugh. And the serious comments were, yep, like this could kickstart his season. I was like, he got a garbage time goal. I was like, yeah, nice goal, but like, I don't know. It's different from Jesus in terms of grabbing a hat trick. Haven't been on the pitch in a long time. I mean, Foden's been on the pitch every single game. It's not like he's been missing out on stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like he's coming back from injury or
no.
It's a straight, I am not in form right now, and I haven't been since, we'll call it last May. Because Euros, he didn't do a whole lot. So
I think that's fair.
I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I was surprised when I read that was his first goal of the year, considering what happened last year. And he was destroying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's good for him to get his first goal, but yeah, I don't know that a goal alone would be enough to like kick on some good form. Like I don't think he's even played well in the rest of the games and was just unlucky to not get a goal. It's going to take a little bit more than 92nd, 93rd minute goal, whatever it was. Like, yeah, it was fine, and it'll bring you some confidence, sure, but I wouldn't be expecting him to turn around and throw up a hattie against Everton next week or 2 days from now.
If he would have got a brace and then secured a point or something, a little different. But it was literally a 92nd minute goal and the game ended 40 seconds later. So I don't know. All right, on to Liverpool, Chad.
Let's do it.
Come on. All right, you know what the game plan was? Get the ball to Trent Alexander-Arnold and let him dish it into everyone. Team high 93 touches. Next highest was 70. It was a clear and simple game plan. Get him the ball, let him distribute. I loved every second of that. When the game reached 5-1, that's when you could just tell, kind of shut off.
Yeah. And
let me just double check here. I think Tottenham got those 2 goals within 10 minutes of each other.
Pretty quick, yeah.
The 72nd and 83rd. And then from that point, it was like, okay, we might have to turn it up a little bit. And then, of course, we get that 6th goal. And I was like, okay, done, sealed, it's over. But wow, right from the start, Chad, this game was like, it felt like it was going back and forth. And I predicted a 5-1 victory for Liverpool, and I was pretty close.
Yeah.
Thought I was going to get there. I told it to Kristen that morning, and I said, "Yep, 5-1. Like they're gonna attack." I saw their back line, and I said, "Holy crap, what is that?" Now I will say their injuries are destroying them.
Sure.
That's totally unlucky. That's something that, again, teams have to work through and go through. So Ainge ball is exactly how this game went. Yeah, we scored 3, but they scored 6. His excuse this game was, well, Liverpool would probably let in 6-2 if they didn't have their 2 starting center backs and starting goalkeeper. Okay. Oh, I hear you. However, we had that before, and I don't recall 6 goals getting let in. There's times when we've had to start Konate and Joe Gomez and had Kelleher in the back line. There's times when we haven't had Trent back there for at least in the last year, and we were in the title. We were in the title race.
You brought in a young Connor Bradley,
Hello.
and he slotted in, and it was good to go.
and with Liverpool, we have these players who can be flexible. Hell, last week we had Gravenberch playing center back, and now he was rated as a top 5 center back in the league because of his stats that game. Like, you adjust players to where their strengths are, and when he put Archie Gray back there, I went like, it's over. Before the game even begun, I was like, how are they going to defend this? Like, there's no way. And it was a slice and dice game, crashing the box. When you have McAllister winning headers at the 6-yard line of the goal box, like, it's not looking great. Forster's had a rough week. His team backed him, Son backed him, saying he's bailed us out in a lot of ways. And then when he came out in this game and almost had a howler within the first 4 to 5 minutes, where he tried to pass it to someone, and Liverpool probably should have scored in the sequence.
Yeah,
that was like I could tell the fans were like, oh shit, like, why did you have to support your guys? But it was a moment of panic and pause. All around, that was a really fun game to watch. Szoboszlai is on it right now. This is like, I know you're jealous as hell. I know it. Just the way he's finding players, the way he's making runs. The ball is at his feet a ton. That's what we like to see. Diaz finishing great. Love him central. I think him being in the central role is interesting. He definitely tends to still tail to that left wing. He likes going that way, which is fine. It works out. I mean, it almost pulls players away from Salah on the weak side. But man, again, it's just when you put up 6 and let in 3, it's like, it's not the best. A 9-goal game is a little crazy. But again, like, we could have put in 7 or 8 if this game would have continued on for a little bit longer, and then maybe they would have got that 4th one. So this game was always going to be a back and forth in terms of pace down the pitch, but I was never worried about scoring this game.
No, I think you're right. It's, Liverpool got it to 5-1 before they, really took their foot off the gas, which if you're going to do it, I'd say that's a fair score line to pull back at. But then we saw, right after, Solanke gets his goal, the 83rd, Liverpool said, all right, well, we're back on. And then 85th minute, Diaz gets his 2nd goal. And it looked so easy.
So easy, dude. We just marched down there, put it in box. It was like it had to have been the first shot after that goal.
Probably, yeah. And I mean, that just shows like how good Liverpool is and was on the day, compared to Tottenham. Like, yeah, they got the 3 goals, and I think that paints this a little bit differently than if you actually watch the game, but it was just different levels, right? And yes, they have a ton of injuries in that back line, and it's crazy, but personally, if I were to be a manager and I have, a bad back line due to injuries, I don't think I'm going to play so attack heavy against, league leaders right now. And, a known threatening quick team. I'm probably packing that back line a little bit more. I don't know. There has to be some young center back in your academy that is a touch more promising than, putting Gray at center back. Like, he's already young. And I'll give him credit. I think he played pretty well considering the circumstances. He had some good blocks, good moments, but he's just not a center back, and that showed also. And I just think there has to be someone in your club somewhere. I don't care if he's 14 or whatever age, but like a trained center back that could have just stepped in here, maybe would have had the same outcome, but it's someone who would be more comfortable in the role. I get it's a big occasion. It might have been too much for them, whatever, but I think you just got to be able to adjust your tactics a little bit here. Like, putting letting 6 goals in at home is just kind of crazy, regardless of your injuries.
For this type of squad too, this isn't a relegation based team. I agree with that. I guess my only conflict with your statement of, like, if you're gonna pack the box, look, Tottenham hasn't played that way in I guess at this point a year and a half, 2 years. So would you rather lose this game 4-0 and you pack the box, or lose this game 6-3 and at least you're still playing your same way? Neither are great options. That's just my argument here. If I was Ainge, which he's using, it's not. Like,
I think it's less of the outcome there, I think, but being able to see that, okay, we can adjust our tactics and try to do whatever we can to win a game, right? Whereas, like, I can appreciate they want to come out and attack and go at teams, and when it works, it works, and that's great. And if you had your whole back line, this game would have probably not ended 6-3, but maybe, but I just feel like you can't just always have just this one plan and just, like, never want to deviate from it and expect to place well at the end of the season here, or Ainge says he always wins the second season. Well, it's not looking very good right now. You're into the next round of the League Cup, but you're playing against Liverpool. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll have some players back by then. But if I'm Liverpool, I'm going into that game now with even more confidence, because yes, the injuries, but, like, we played through you so easily up until 5-1, where we finally started to take a little break.
We turned it off, and then we turned it right back on again and said, oh yeah, this is how easy it is to score against you. We got, in 2 weeks we'll be seeing them again, and by that time we'll have Connor Bradley and Konate back, so that actually might be their first game back, is against Tottenham, which will be good. Tottenham could have easily done some, and you can always change a game plan mid-game. You can always sub him out. Liverpool started Kwanzaa at the beginning of the season. He lasted one half, and our slot said, yeah, no, that's not going to work with me right now.
Yeah.
And we've really have seen no difference in how Tottenham has played in over a year and a half now. That's crazy. Stick to your guns, but at the same time, this is you have to adapt. You have to evolve.
That's what I'm saying.
And if you don't, this is what happens.
And it's, I don't see it as much anymore, but a lot of people were, like, heaping praise and admiration on Ainge for just sticking to his guns. But I don't think that's a good way forward. I think, for the club culture and all that Ainge has brought to Tottenham, I think he's doing a good job with all that. But I think that can only get you so far. If performances aren't there, then you brought us more joy watching the team because they're attacking more than they did under Conte and all these other managers and stuff. But, like, you gotta at least win some games and at least at least showed, just I guess, adaptability is what Ainge needs to learn, and he doesn't seem to want to learn that, which is fine. But then I don't think this is the league or the job for you.
They have 8 losses on the season with the most goals scored in the Premier League. If you turn 8 of those losses and make 4 of those draws, they're in top 5. So,
Yeah.
And that's gosh, I feel like so many of their games they probably could have drawn if they made their game plan a little different, but I don't know. It's a fascinating squad. He's definitely on the hot seat. Problem is who takes over for Ainge at this point? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no one really on the market right now. The only person out there is that I can think of is Zidane, but there's no way he's coming to Tottenham.
No,
that would be incredible if he did, but I don't think so. Yeah, happy to beat them, happy to smash them. That's exactly what I wanted. That was a game we needed. 2 draws in a row. If we had a third one, it's okay. Chelsea's now right on our tail here. Chelsea dropping points, that was very helpful. The game in hand, which I thought was going to happen sometime this week, but I don't think it is now. So I don't know when that Everton-Liverpool game is going to be made up.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about it yet. I don't know. It might be a late one because, if Liverpool stays in the League Cup and FA Cup and stuff, like plus Champions League, it might be hard to find a good week.
Which is a bummer. I hate when things get staggered in this table just because it kind of throws some things off. Its perspectives look a little different. It looks much closer than it actually is. But again, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room too. And if right now we didn't have a game in hand, I'd still be pretty happy with how we're looking. So I think the biggest losers on the day though is probably Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest, I should say. But to draw Everton, well done. No disrespect. You get your flowers. But Chelsea, man, I'm shocked they did not score a goal this game. Kristen actually talked me out of not picking or picking Chelsea this game over Bournemouth, and I regret all of it.
Yeah, look, Everton caused issue for Arsenal last week. Kept it to a draw there, and here they did it again. So if this is the form that Everton is finding, where they just are able to get draws against teams that have the capability to beat them, then that's what you got to do when you're at that bottom end. Just grab the points where you can and frustrate the other team and keep moving forward.
This is what I call dice ball, Chad. Okay, you ready for this? Last 7 games. Okay, lost 1-0 against Southampton. They want that back. West Ham 0-0. Everton Brentford 0-0. Man United Everton 4-0. They got whooped on. But then Everton Wolves 4-0. Arsenal Everton 0-0. Everton Chelsea 0-0. Rack up those points any way you can.
Exactly. I mean, look, you got 16 points. You're 4 ahead of being in the relegation zone. So any way you can and just get a little more distance there. And I think they will need to get some wins together here if Wolves are finally coming to life. But surprised Chelsea couldn't find the back of the net. When Pickford's on it, he's just a different beast back there, and somehow finds a way to make these saves and just like put attackers off.
They have the most clean sheets in the league, tied with Liverpool, which is shocking in itself. Take away that Man City or the Man United game, and they've let in 17 goals, which is top 3 would be Arsenal, Liverpool, Everton. So again, they're sitting 6th right now, 21 allowed, but that's better than City. That's better than United. That's better than Aston Villa. So dice ball is in full effect. I mean, you get points if you get draws. So who needs to score?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, I think Chelsea will definitely be disappointed considering how they've been playing. But, there's always going to be little stumbles here and there. So not the worst result, but, for how hot they've been looking and considering other results on the weekend, I think they'll probably feel a little bit bummed out. But, lucky for them, it's a quick turnaround to, games in 2 days now. So easy peasy. Right back into it. Who they got though? Fulham. So, and Fulham, I'd say, maybe looks worse than Everton in these recent weeks. So
Fulham's such a hit or miss team, dude. You just don't know what you're gonna get. Like them not beating Southampton, them getting points against Liverpool and Arsenal. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. So a lot of these games for pick'ems is going to be a toss-up, I think, for me. Mm-hmm. I think Joachim Anderson will be back for Fulham this week, so that'll be big on their back line. Yeah. Should be. I don't think anyone from Chelsea should be out.
Should be okay, yeah.
Cucurella's still out. Oh, yeah, the Mudryk scandal. Did he do it or did he not do it?
I don't know. But again, I think Arsenal dodged a bullet on that one. So
conspiracy theory, Chad. Mm-hmm. If he gets caught with this doping thing, his contract is totally nulled and voided. Did Chelsea maybe do something with that, saying he's not performing? I don't want to pay him for another 8 years.
Maybe. I mean, seems weird for it to just all of a sudden now come out, right? Like he's been there a little bit and he's had zero issues.
It's crazy. I'm not saying Chelsea poisoned their players, but it's just I always find it fascinating when a player gets tested for doping and they get caught and they're like, I had no idea. Like, what? I've never heard of that drug before.
It's always like, oh, that drug is also in NyQuil or whatever. I was taking NyQuil and that's why it showed up. So,
yeah,
sure.
Mm-hmm. Pogba had a protein shake and found its way in. Yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating. I want to see more in Cuckoo with this team. I don't think he's getting enough minutes.
Not at all. No.
I think Chelsea in this winter window is probably going to sell some players, or at least try to. I could see him possibly going elsewhere just because he's not getting play time, or if movement happens elsewhere, then maybe he will get more play time. But he's one to watch for me, just because when we've seen him play, it looks like quality. It looks nice. I wish there was more. So yeah, I don't know. I could see a team like PSG. I could see an out of Premier League team coming for him.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the craziest thing. I mean, even if they lose him, they still have João Felix on the bench, which I still forget he's on this team again. So
I wonder if City would come knocking for any of these players.
Wouldn't be the worst idea. I mean, they need some younger age profile in that team, and that's kind of Chelsea's whole shtick is sign young, somewhat promising players, and if they perform, cool. If not, we sell them. So they got to do something. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they would try for someone. Maybe be like, hey, Palmer, come on back, boy.
That'll never happen. And Cuckoo is one of their oldest players on the team, Chad, at a ripe 27. Wow. So he could be the one. I mean, I go down the list, and believe it or not, Tosin and Cuckoo are the same age, and I feel like Tosin's been around forever. But most of their starters, man, they're 22, 23, Palmer 23, Jackson 23, Caicedo 23, Madueke 22, Sancho 24, Fernandez 23. I mean, no one goes above 25 besides Nkuku. So I don't know. That's one I could kind of see. Maybe City will scoop him up. That wouldn't, at this point, wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think you're right that he probably will want to move on, if not winter, by the end of the season, because he's just not getting the minutes that I think would expect to get. He's since season start in the league at least had one game of a full 90, and that was against Southampton. Everything else is most are like 15 minutes or less, some a little bit above that, but only have 190 in that whole time is not what you want as the striker, right? Like
in the last 2 years he's started 4 games in the Premier League. Okay, the season before he came over, when he was with the Red Bulls, he scored 16 goals and 4 assists in 20 starts. Quality's there. Go a year back, 20 goals, 13 assists.
Yeah, so he's got the quality. I think he'll want to be playing. I know Chelsea's more on the up and up than City is these days, but I think if City comes knocking and says, hey, we need something to, rejuvenate this side, you could be the guy. You can play with Haaland. You can, play with De Bruyne while he's still here. Just kind of wine and dine him. Maybe give him a little extra money to come over mid-season. I don't know, but I don't think it would be the worst move for either any 3 points of that, Chelsea, Nkunku, or City. So it's a good shout. I like that one.
I just wanted to do a quick Google just to see if there were any rumors. Apparently offered to Barcelona. Again, I don't know what Barcelona
need him though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, where would he kind of fit in?
Yeah,
nothing too crazy yet. Napoli's checking him out too. So yeah, it could be interesting. Rashford's on the hot seat as well.
Yeah, where do you think he's going? Because he's clearly out of the plans now.
I feel like these guys who are kind of English and not figuring it out go to Italy and then figure it out and do really well there. I'm talking the Tammy Abrahams.
Yeah,
there's a couple other
Tamori,
Hudson-Odoi. He's over there too, right?
I think he's back now.
Is he back now?
Is he on? Forget where he is.
He's on Forest. He's on Forest.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Who am I thinking of? Someone is on. I want to say AC Milan.
Tamori.
Is Tamori
okay? There.
Oh, no, it's a forward. I'm pretty sure it's a forward.
Oh, forward.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Oh yeah, wow.
Throwback.
Yeah. And then what? Chris Smalling is or was at Roma?
Chris Smalling. Oh man, where is he now? He might still be at Roma. I want to say he went to Turkey for whatever reason.
Oh.
No, I think he's in Saudi. Al Faheh. Yeah, he's in Saudi now.
All right, get that bag. Yeah, but I mean I don't know, like. Ian Wright came out and said, when he came over to Arsenal, he was 28 and, was still able to make something of his career and leave Arsenal as this, kind of Arsenal legend figurehead, right? So people are writing off Rashford as, career's over because United is done. And I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it will be obviously a change for him. But I don't think he's going to, step away and we'll see him reappear in like some newly promoted side or anything. It's some team will come knocking for him. I think it'll just be, if he wants to stay in England, I think he'll just have to take a wage cut because a lot of teams won't pay what he's on. And I think even if he goes elsewhere, unless it's like a Saudi or something, he'll just have to take a pay cut. But if you want to play, if you want to try and, get back into these big games, then you got to do what you got to do. And you had a good few years at United, scoring goals, making money, I don't know. I don't know where he'll go. I think out of Premier League is probably the route. If anything, just to kind of get that like media spotlight off of him for a while. But
Everton could maybe use him.
Everton could definitely use him, but I don't know if he would be down, or maybe this could be one of those crazy just loan deals where it gets at least some of the payoff of United, and he doesn't have to be there, not playing, not on the bench. So we could get something crazy like that. I think that'd be pretty fun.
I'm gonna go Southampton, Leicester, and Everton should make a run for him.
Why not?
Southampton could take a stab at him, and he could be a legend at Southampton. He keeps him above.
Exactly.
And then that confidence boost can go such a long way. I'm a huge fan of that move. I hope it happens. I hope people don't get I don't know, play hardball and the fax machine doesn't work anymore, and then transfers don't happen.
Well, the roof's leaking and everything, so they probably don't have power for the fax machine either. But
their end of year budget is not looking great. Whose fax machine broke and they couldn't do the transfer?
I want to say it was like, was it Madrid
or something? Sergio Ramos, which doesn't sound right. But it wasn't. Gosh, dang it! I'm gonna do a quick Google on that one. Transfer.
Yeah, I forget who it was.
Was it on All or Nothing? Did they? No.
No, I don't think so.
Was it De Gea?
Oh, I think it was De Gea.
De Gea going to Madrid?
I think so. I think that's what it was. That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, here it is. Deal fell apart in the 11th hour because of administration oversight. De Gea's high-profile move to Real Madrid was canceled due to an issue with a fax machine. It's awesome.
Oh my god,
it's so good. When was that? 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yep. And that gave Real Madrid, I think it was actually more than 3 years ago, but that gave him Keylor Navas. And that got them a Champions League title, I think, against Liverpool. I think that was the year.
Well, there you go. Thanks, fax machine.
The real MVP. All right, where are we at here? Man, the clean sheets. Wolves, Leicester. Wolves maybe back.
Maybe back.
They, I think a month ago we said they would win this game along with the other ones that we had in mind. We'll see what they do here now. Guedes with a nice goal. I don't know if you saw that one, but he got injured on it, which was a brutal way to go. I think he stayed in, but I do think he's taken some time to heal. And then Saw's back in now. What a snip, snap he's going through.
Yeah.
But played great.
Yeah, looked good. I mean, I don't really know much about this new manager they got. The only thing I saw was that he's had 14 clubs in 20 years or something. So people were up in arms about that, and it's not a good record to have or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. Once you're in that like managerial sphere, I feel like you could move pretty frequently depending on what level of team you're at, and if one above comes in for you, you're gonna keep moving up and around. So I don't know. I wouldn't be too alarmed by that. I think it's just if you can get the performances, if you can save Wolves from relegation, like that's all you kind of need to do right now. You don't gotta aim too much higher than that. So yeah, glad to see they're looking. I mean, one game they looked better than they have in these past few weeks where we thought they were going to turn it on. So glad to see Saw back out there. I think, if you're bringing in Johnston and he's like the same age, whatever, older, whatever it was, why not just play Saw? He's been there for so long. He's bailed this team out time and again. And, now if he can build off of this game and get back to his great form, and could just be what the Wolves need to survive.
Yeah, their coach has quite a resume. Take a breath with me, Chad. This is his name. Vitor Manuel de Oliveira Lopez Pereira. He has been with Porto, Olympiacos, Fenerbahce, Shanghai, SIPG, which is where Oscar went to go play. Fenerbahce again, a return after China. The Corinthians, Flamengo, and then he went to Saudi Arabia this year and then came to the Wolves. So yeah, he's been around. But again, pretty high-profile teams. I imagine those teams did well under him to make another team want to come scoop him up.
Yeah,
that's definitely I know him bouncing around a lot is looked at maybe kind of funny, but also he's sought after.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a pro. Yeah, good start for him. I mean, it's a Leicester team that is still going through it. I think Van Nistelrooy has a lot to figure out there.
I think Leicester's just going to need to do something in the winter window to just kind of get a little more life in there. Jamie Vardy can't be pounding Red Bulls every single game anymore. It's just
his heart
not built for that no more. But Wolves, they got United on Thursday, Boxing Day. So I think, I'm not going to say winnable, but I think the Wolves are at home. I think you can put in a good shift, and United is a team that can falter, as we saw this week too. So confidence will be high on Wolves, I think. So keep it rolling.
Another clean sheet here, another a draw in the books. Fulham, Southampton. We kind of touched on it briefly. Fulham probably wishes they could have done more there. Kudos to Southampton for getting a point.
Yeah, great job from them. But I mean, if you're Fulham, that you can't have Southampton come into your place and not let you score. Like, I know Ramsdale is back, so
Hansdale.
Is that what they're calling him now?
That's what I'm calling him.
All right. Yeah, so a little bit more of, I guess, a better keeper back there than forgot who they had in there while he was out, but
MacArthur.
Oh yeah, Alex McCarthy. Yeah, so we'll see how Southampton get on. It's all changing down there, so it's. Fulham, I guess you got unlucky with maybe Southampton's new manager bounce here, and but damn, you should be able to get one past Southampton.
Yeah, shame for Fulham. They'll look back on that one, I think, and wish they could have done better. Newcastle Ipswich, Isaac with the Hattie. This guy has been so inconsistent, and he makes me not want to pick him up. And now I'm like, now you're getting hat tricks again. It's like, what do we do here? I think he's got a third in the league for scoring. Let me check. He has 10. I know Salah is at 15, Holland 12. I think Palmer might have 10.
Yeah, you're at Salah 15, Holland 13, Palmer 11.
Okay.
So yeah, but right there in the mix, tied with Mbumo and Chris Wood. Naturally. Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely one I've always kind of kept an eye on. But then he just doesn't seem to be consistent, or then he'll get injured for a little bit. So it's just hard to bank any fantasy run on him. But I mean, away at Ipswich, Newcastle kind of coming back to life in recent games, so I think this was more or less expected. Maybe not 4, but I think a Newcastle win at least was always expected here.
Jacob Murphy on the score sheet again. This guy, he does the same thing every year. I went through his history. He goes on like a 2 to 3 game stretch of scoring, and then he's done. So I'm just going to take you back to 2022. 4 goals that season. Okay, those all happened pretty close together. Last year he scored 3 goals, and I think 2 of them came in the game where they absolutely smoked Tottenham, and then he got 1 shortly after that. Well, now he's on 3 goals right now and 5 assists. So wrap it up. The Jacob Murphy special is over.
He saw Rashford do that like 1 month performance thing. He's like, that's pretty sick.
This is the new Winter Rashford.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna call him Holiday Murphy.
Holiday Murphy.
You know what I wish I wish we could add this somehow, but in Sleeper Fantasy you could add personal nicknames for your players. I know. I wish there was a way to implement that. But
it's good.
It's next level. It's fun stuff. You can make a lot of fun nicknames. All right, what are we missing here?
United Bournemouth.
Again, we started off this podcast saying, who would you rather be, City or United? And I said United. It doesn't mean that United's good, okay?
No, yeah.
Bournemouth did what I thought they would do. Clean sheet, pretty surprised by him. I think I'm surprised Man United couldn't get 1. But Bournemouth, man, they just put up a fight. This is like the true bogey team that no team is probably wanting to face. Like, they know they can beat them, but Bournemouth is going to be scrappy the whole way through.
Yeah, exactly. They play decent enough, so you have to respect them. But then, they almost play with that, almost that like Luton Town kind of just fight, where it just you can't ever count them out. And I think they're honing that power almost from the start of games now, compared to like being down and then turning it on. And I think that's what we saw in this game, is they just really came to play and caused some issues for United's back line. And there you go. United is what they had 23 shots, only 7 on target. So a bad day of shooting for United, but like, come on, you can't get one goal in.
Yeah, I mean, considering they're high off of City, it's a shame. I think they came out this way. I think they were probably expecting a lot more. I didn't get to personally watch this whole game, so I don't know exactly where they could have maybe changed things. I hope Diallo is doing as much as he did in City. They need to keep feeding him ball. I'm sure the game is probably going through Bruno. I guess we can look at touches, but if Diallo is not getting the most touches in these games, I think that's where you're probably going to be at fault here. I'll just compare the two games from each week just to compare Diallo touches, and we'll kind of see what happened. Diallo had 64 touches. Bruno had 93. So that's kind of what I thought would happen in this game. In the United City game, Diallo had 50 touches and Bruno had 63. So a lot closer.
Okay.
30 more touches in this week's game. I feel like you need to find a balance between those two.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always going to lean to go through Bruno, which I think is not a bad idea. He's creative enough to see the passes and carry the ball well, but I think you almost have to be willing to make some big adjustments in game if you need to, because Diallo can make those runs and try and break the line and get him behind. But if teams are going to plan for that, then okay, maybe try and make Diallo a little bit more of the touch heavy player and leave Bruno a little more open or something. I don't know, but
here's what stats are telling me, Chad. And this is why I love analytics. This is why I hope to work with coaches someday. In the City game, Diallo took on 8 players and was successful 5 times. Okay. Kobe Mainoo, he subbed on 77 minutes, 0 take-ons, 0 attempts. In this game against Bournemouth, guess who led the team in take-ons?
Kobe.
4 successful, which is fine, but Diallo only had 3 take-ons. 1 successful. Why? Like that?
Yeah.
I get it. Kobe's a great player, great young player, but he doesn't have the pace like Diallo. He isn't bombing the wing and having this crazy touch. Not even watching the game. That's for sure what's happening here. I mean, for Kobe to be the one trying to take people on, probably centrally, if we really want to break this down and see where his heat, we're getting into this one because I need to know. I'm sure Kobe's heat map is central.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I don't imagine he's picking the ball up on the wing too often. So
it's definitely kind of left center mid-E. While Diallo is hot in the right attacking corner flag. Hot. And also right behind the half line. So I guess Diallo's getting the ball or in the areas that he needs to be, but I don't think he has the ball in those areas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, just... See, I'm just looking at least their lineup, how it's posted here, and, you have Bruno and kind of that, like, left wing, but probably still playing more centrally. I think I'd rather see Bruno kind of be more just a center attacking mid in these games, and play through him, or then let him kind of free roam or something. This would have been nice for like a Garnacho or a Rashford on the wing, right? Because then you have someone bombing down the wing and that has the pace, and it's not only Diallo trying to do that. So You know, they'll figure it out, obviously, but I think this is one you probably look at afterwards and you're like, oh yeah, we just got the balance completely wrong, or the game plan to play through Mainu was not the move. It's just a bummer for United, considering coming off the high of the City win, and
it's a true oh no, we suck again.
Yeah, like it's like that. The City game, yeah, it was. You played better the whole game, and yeah, it took till the very end to really get the win, but that performance into this Bournemouth game, I think, would have been enough to beat Bournemouth or at least get a draw out of it. So I don't know what happened, during the week to disrupt any momentum they had, but well, I guess they lost to Tottenham midweek, so maybe that threw them off a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Should have probably won if they were playing correctly, but it's like we said, the Manchester teams are just both bad right now, and one is a little bit worse. But United, I think, is the healthier option at this point.
When you say one is a little worse, I was like, I don't know. I don't even know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. I feel like the flip of a coin, you could make an argument for
truly
for either side. So,
yep, nope, I agree with that. All right, West Ham Brighton. I guess West Ham's the true winner here, just because of where they are on the table. Nice to have Kudus back. He's got his little stool for a king. Definitely an interesting quote. I'm like, dude, you scored like 2 goals this year? Like, let's calm down. Just calm down a little bit. 3 goals, my bad. If he wants to say he's the king and get himself a throne, better start putting him in the back of the net. West Ham's going, okay, king.
Yeah,
let's do this thing. And his goal, I mean, rebound, fine, it's great.
Yeah, it had to be there. So it all works out. But I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. West Ham is just another interesting team. I feel like they sometimes look like they have the performances in them to win these things, and then just don't. And then this one, I feel like they didn't play all that well from what I saw, but caused enough issue to Brighton to get a goal in there. And I don't know. I'm just fantasy wise, like, I don't ever feel like Bowen is doing enough, but then he somehow keeps putting up like decent points each week. So like, well, I can't drop you, but then
he does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and I think that's his saving grace for fantasy, is he's getting all these tackles and getting shots off and dribbles and all that, and so he's safe for now. I'll tell you, Jared is safe, but I always keep an eye on him.
West Ham, you just look at them on paper, and I'm like, this team looks so good. Mm-hmm. I'm looking on Who's Scored right now, and you do have, fun fact, the oldest player in the Premier League, which is, can you guess?
I'd guess Fabianski.
Fabianski, yep, 37, 39. My bad. Vardy's 37. That's what the comparison is.
Okay, yeah.
39. You know what? Doesn't act like he's 39 out there.
I don't know, man.
You could tell with the way he plays, the experience. Besides he was the one who missed a punch 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah. Besides that one little mishap, I think he's doing okay. Füllkrug is kind of back in the mix now, which should be interesting. I don't know where you slot him in, but I would really like to see Somerville play more. My only suggestion would maybe be Souček comes back a little bit to where Alvarez plays and throw Somerville on the left wing and maybe bring Kudus a little more central, because I think Kudus is so good at bombing down the middle of the pitch. I mean, we saw him do that 2 weeks ago, and he found Bowen and they almost scored off of it. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think those are kind of interesting tweaks they can do, but Wan-Bissaka's been playing great. Kilman, we know, is going to be solid back there. I don't know if this was if West Ham was so tied to Antonio just because of loyalty and everything that Füllkrug, might have been maybe a little injured, but like didn't want to give up his starting spot until tragedy happened. Like, that's crazy. But like that's what it looks like right now. It's like, okay, now Antonio is completely unavailable. This is your opportunity. It's like, what? Then why'd you bring him in the first place? That's my one like big question mark there. But I don't know. I'd like to see Todibo a little bit more. Kufal had a really awkward fall in that game. I thought for sure he was done for the season. That dude is tough as nails. He's like, if I had to pick like 5 players to be on my team in an alley fight, Kufal's making that team.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dude, he's crazy. I'll have to show you the injury he had. He went up and just landed awkwardly on his knee. And I was like, yeah, tore LCL. Like, he's done. Over. Yeah. Nope. He like walked it off and just kind of grimaced and then was fine. I was like, that's just nuts, dude. This guy's crazy.
All right.
Those checks are wild. But yeah, I think Brighton is the team here that has bigger question marks. They go through these phases of scoring a ton, attacking great, and then now we're back to mid-table team.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I think this is more or less your starting 11 that you would have for Brighton. Maybe Danny Welbeck up top if he was healthy, but beyond that, I think this is pretty much a hit. Like, I don't know. I haven't watched a whole ton of Brighton this season, but I don't think you're getting enough out of Matoma. I don't know if that's just down to him or, tactically he's just not getting in the right spots, but he's not lighting it up as much as he has. And, he's got 3 goals, 2 assists. So, not the worst return at this point, but I feel like, he is such a threat. You need to find a way to utilize him more and get him more involved.
Yeah, Danny might have been the glue. Maybe good news for Brighton. We'll see. It's been a very long time, but guess who's coming back this week?
Brighton. Solly March.
He's set to return on the 27th. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath on that one because I'm pretty sure I've seen many dates of him coming back. But that player, 2 years ago was rock solid. He played left back, right wing, center mid. He'll play wherever and he'll put up great stat lines. So if he gets a full 90 in this week, I'll take a peek. And actually, we got to see. I don't even know where his position would be right now.
I'm not sure. I would assume midfield, but like you said, he's played everywhere, so I wouldn't be surprised if they labeled him as a defender or just an attacker. But
not at all.
Well, good. I hope he, they've given him enough time to fully heal and get back out there because. I think if he's out there, I think that'll help Matoma too. He's another threat that a lot of teams will have to respect. And, lucky for him, they may kind of have forgotten about him a little bit. So he might be able to come in and, get off to a hot start.
They need it.
Yeah, certainly.
They need to get back on track. And then, Chad, the last one we got here, Brentford. Their home record has been the best, one of the best in the Premier League. And I thought, lock, they got this at home, no problem. And they just looked lackluster, a little disorganized back there. I'm like, okay, I get it. You lose your best center back that you've had. It might not be the same defensively, and I think now we're all going to have to kind of pay attention to that. But no disrespect to Forest either, because this is just a team who's, God, man, on fire.
Yeah, they're looking really good.
The Nuno team, I mean, who saw this coming?
If you at the start had to someone say like what'll happen first, City collapse or Forest into top 4, I don't think anyone's picking Forest in that. It's crazy that they're playing this well, and I feel like at the start when they were doing well, we all just kind of assumed it was just a good start, a little bit more prepared than the other teams, and maybe weren't giving them the full respect. But they're here. I think they're the real deal, a real challenger for top 4, top 6 at least. Yeah, I didn't see it coming at
No.
all. But
And if you did, I'd be like, what do you know?
yeah,
What do you know? Yeah, pretty incredible. I think just the biggest thing for them is their goal differential, +4. Again, they have less goals scored than the Wolves, but they're very much a defensive heavy team. I mean, Nuno is a disciple of Mourinho. It's just the way he plays, the way he works. Probably why he got outed at Tottenham, just because he wasn't a goal scoring manager. He was a game manager, right? He was there to get points. And last year when he got brought into Forest, he got him out of relegation. He saved their season. Forest has been like hanging on by their like nails at the end of the seasons now, and now they're going to be 9 points away from 40 points and be absolutely safe. And potential Champions League. How crazy is that? Crazy. That could be, man. If they make Champions League and City doesn't, I don't know which is the bigger storyline.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't decide which is bigger, but
it's probably Forest.
Probably Forest. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It could go either way, honestly. But like, I love, I think a lot of people love the more underdog kind of story. So, to see Forest playing so well, and if they can end in that top 4, even top 6, and get into Europe again, would be just a great turnaround for them after finally making it back into Premier League. And Steve Cooper has them scraping and fighting along just to survive, and then they make a lot of signings, and we all kind of gave them a hard time as we did when Chelsea signed all these players, of like, you have so many players, you don't even know your best 11. And but then actually making the smart pick and getting Nuno in there and giving him the support. I still want to see Carlos Miguel in that net, though. So come on, man. But yeah, I don't think they're the most exciting team to watch, honestly, but they're getting the job done. So that's all that matters right now.
Yep, good for them. They're up there. They're starting to get taken a little more seriously with each game.
Yeah.
All right, I think we did it for all our games here. The Chelsea record of 15 goals allowed in one season is officially safe. So congrats to them. Yes. In this day and age, the way the game is played, like, that record is just going to hold up forever.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe. Even some of these teams that look like they can come close to it, it's just the pace and the fouls that are called now and stuff. It's just, I think that'll be very safe. And if it ever gets broken or even tied, that's maybe an even more incredible feat than the original record. So
I would love to go back, and I saw a funny video the other day. It was this guy watching football, and he'd never watched football before, and he was like, "Oh, I'm watching season 1 of the NFL." And the guy's like, "Season 1?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got to get caught up." And I was like, I would like to do that with Premier League in like a really condensed form, just to see how. I mean, we watched it 10 years ago, but I think just because of the micro changes in the game, it doesn't seem like a lot has changed. But I'm sure if we saw a foul now and a foul then, just crazy different, right? I don't know. It'd be kind of shocking to go back to see that Chelsea season and like watch their defense just to see what they could get away with. I'll see if I can find any videos, but I'm sure John Terry was absolutely blading people in the knees and Achilles, and just nothing happening. Wouldn't shock me in any way.
Yeah. Well, that too, like, even beyond what fouls get called now with VAR, like, you could maybe get away with it, but then VAR checks it, and now it's a foul. So, if a team could do it, that would be incredible. But I don't know. It's a tough thing to do.
Yep. And they were rocking a lot of 4-4-2s back then too. So condensed middle of the pitch. Mourinho's a park the bus type of guy, so he had like 6 back there at times.
Yeah.
We get it. We get it. All right, nominations, Chaz. Should we get the easy one out of the way?
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm starting to feel like
we got to stop.
We got to stop because it's too easy.
I don't know, man. I think we got to stick to our guns here. We can't. If we change it now, things might go sideways.
I'm down to stick with it, and it still feels right, but I did not expect to give this so often.
Can you stop when they get to 10? Do you think that's when we should cut it off? I feel like 10's a solid number.
I feel like if they fall to 11, so then bottom half of the table.
Okay, you're irrelevant at that point.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. It could happen as soon as.
It could be quick.
If they lose this week and 8, 10, 9, 8 win, they're in 10th place. So.
All right. Well.
So maybe in the new year we'll have to stop this.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll check and adjust there in the new year.
Be our resolution. Okay. Well, with the Aston Villa, well done. You did it.
Yes.
You're part of the club. There have been 6 of y'all this year, and now you're in it. So easy pick. Check that off. Damn, Chad, the goals and the players for this week. I got kind of too much.
There's a lot. Yeah.
I really like Jacob Murphy's goal.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Rice's goal. The Guedes goal for the Wolves. But I got to give it to my guy Diaz on the flying header from the Trent Alexander swinging in ball. Oh my God. That was just, you couldn't ask for a better better assist. And then the layout finish, beautiful. So those are my goals.
Yeah. I pretty much have the same. The only one I'm adding to that was I got to add Sarr in there. He's similar to Declan's goal, but just the confidence to take the ball and dribble up a little bit and just give a little touch around Saliba to create a little space and get the power and the position in the goal. So I think it was great, but I think visually, that Diaz goal was just like picture perfect. If you had to Google crossed ball into a header, that is it.
Yeah, literally perfect. All right, you down with the Diaz, the one?
Yeah, I like that.
Roll with that. Player of the week. Oh man, there's a lot of good players that played this week.
Yeah. There is quite a bit. I mean, Salah's up there. Szoboszlai, all of Liverpool, basically.
Half of Liverpool makes the list, yes.
Who else I got here?
Isaac with
Jesus, Isaac, Hattie. Jesus. Shoot.
I'm giving a shout out to Pickford for another clean sheet.
Pickford, that's good.
Coming up big.
I like that. I think that's kind of where I'm at, really.
Saul was kind of there too.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of what Bournemouth was doing. No, true standout. That was just a great team game.
Yeah.
Duran kind of getting it started too for Villa. I think that's huge. It's tough not to pick Salah. It's tough not to pick a Liverpool player. Isaac, man, it's it's close. He got the Hattie. Ipswich, so I'm like,
that's my only hold up, really.
Yeah. So I really want to give to Szoboszlai. That was arguably his best overall game he could have had. His stat line is pretty damn good too. It's not the perfect goals and assists, but a goal and assist. I mean, let's just go down the line for his stat line so we can get it on the record. Because calculating it was just so fun to read off. It was you get one of everything here. 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 shot on target, 1 yellow card, 1 tackle, 1 interception, 4 blocks, 1 take on. The 5 GCAs that's
big.
That's the big number there that we pay attention to. He was, making teams think. I mean, 11 shots on target for Liverpool. That's big. 24 overall. We were making them work back there.
Yeah, I mean, this is where he needs to play, right? Like under Klopp, he was playing a little further back, which I get that. Gravenberch wasn't really up to speed yet, I guess. But once you can let Szoboszlai play more advanced and be a little bit more of that creative role, he's just going to cook. And I mean, here you go. This was the perfect game to show what he's capable of. I felt like anytime there was a Liverpool attack, if he wasn't on the ball, he was right up there around it, ready to pounce, ready to be available for a pass, whatever. So I like watching him. It's a pretty entertaining player. So I like that. I like that shout.
I think he earns it. He's playing like he plays for Hungary, which is the type of player we kind of needed and wanted. Just a new attacking midfielder. We're glazing over him pretty hard. The whole subreddit for Liverpool, you should go take a peek in it. It was the last 5 days. Oh my god, it's just like profile pic of him after him, like the three midfielders together.
It's fair.
Yep, slot ball is looking pretty nice right now. Pretty nice. So, Boxing Day, big list of games coming. It's gonna be a busy week. I think we check back. We'll check back here on the weekend. And then maybe do our New Year, our resolution pick'ems, or our reset on the table to see how wrong we were, how right we were at the mid-table.
I'm sorry, Forest.
Forest is definitely the big one. And then of course West Ham. They're at 20 points though now. It's 8 points out of fifth, Chad. That's nothing too crazy.
Nah. Still pretty tight. So.
But I said top four, so I got to readjust.
Yeah, for sure.
A little readjustment.
Yeah, some fun games on Boxing Day. I mean, Man City Everton.
Yep.
On paper doesn't sound like it, but I think must watch considering where we're at. Newcastle Villa should be spicy. Forest Tottenham I think will be spicy. I think that Wolves United game could be a little interesting. Yeah, I mean, plenty to watch. Of course, they put them all at the same time, so thanks for that. But
I might go triple box that day just to get it all in.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, get the Peacock accounts going.
Yeah.
All right, Chad. I think we nailed it. Have a great Christmas Eve. Enjoy Moonraker. I missed that place.
Yeah.
Have a beer for me, and
we'll
regroup and go again.
Yeah. Merry Christmas and enjoy your holiday. And here we go. Turn around and then right back into it.
2025 is almost here. Until then, this is episode 89 of the Hooligans Pitch. Have a great Christmas. We'll see you later. Peace.